And welcome back to the We'll Take It From Here podcast. Another week, another episode. However, first, we are going to bring you our show's sponsor, because this episode is brought to you by Honest Supplements. Now, Joe, what's Honest Supplements? Well, let me tell you. In a world that is plagued by new illness outbreak every other day, it's important to keep your body performing at its best with the right vitamins and supplements. However, these products can get expensive, especially with rising prices all around us. Honest Supplements has resolved that problem. They mark up all products by just $1, saving their members an average of 50% per product. Yes, that means that the protein you're paying $60 for is only $30 on their website. They have everything from vitamins, sports supplements, recovery, weight loss, CBD, and so much more. Timmy and I are both members and can advocate for the amount of money that you will save. And do we also mention that all products are third-party lab tested? Because that's the only true way to prove vitamins and supplements actually contain the ingredients that they claim. Don't wait. Go to Honest Supplements right now to join today and start taking better care of your health. And it's right. If you train jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, or just in the gym, you better be taking Honest Supplements. So go to their website, guys. All right. Now it's time for the show. Welcome back, folks, to We'll Take It From Here with Joe and Timmy, episode 222. I'm so damn happy we got this show up on the road. Folks, you already see him, but I'm going to make the introduction anyway. You guys know who he is. If you train at Pure MMA, you know who he is. If you've gone against him and then he started dancing before the fucking round, you know who he is. It is Benny Tutto Benny. Mr. Joseph Campisi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime.
No, this is fun.
Hell yeah.
This is a cool little setup you guys got in here.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. We're finally, folks, we're just going to get the show on the road. It's finally, everything's working. We love it. Bro, I think it was 2 times we tried to, right? We had to reschedule.
Yeah,
we've
we've had to reschedule it a couple of times.
Hell yeah.
So I'm glad that we made it happen, and we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Difficulties, but like the Italians, we just call shit out.
Yeah. We're good now.
Fuck yeah, love it, guys. All right, you already know what this is about, guys. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to make you think. We're on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. Why did I forget that? Good. So also take your Honest Supplements and train your fucking MMA, but let's get right into it, brother. We already told you how this works off air. We told you last week, right? We're just going to make you spit. No questions. I'm just fucking with you. It's a very much just wanting to get to know you. We know who you are from Pure. A lot of people know you better than, more people know you better than some. But I really want to understand who Joe Campisi is, right? We've had Sam Messina on. I know you're really good friends with him. Yep. He gave us a really good gem with regards to meeting you in the wrestling camp, and you were yelling at him with the push-ups.
Yeah, I literally, first day I met him, I was talking shit to him.
I love it.
That's
I love that.
the common thread.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what? If someone's fucking up, you got to shit talk them.
The origin stories, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of the origin stories, take us back. Story.
How you doing?
Take us back, and I guess to help you go, like, how did you get into, like, who's Joey as a kid, and then how did you find wrestling? Like, how'd you get into that path, man?
Well, I really only wrestled for 1 year. I only wrestled 8th grade. When I was a kid. Yeah, I wrestled only 1 year in the 8th grade. The town I grew up in was like super, super serious about wrestling, and I just didn't love it that much. I was just like, dude, this sucks.
Yes, the area is.
What town? Let me say, it was Livingston.
At that time, they were really, really good. The recreation program was really good. The high school program was really good. There was a lot of pressure. It was like a dynasty, and I just didn't want to put in all that work. I was just like, man, it's too much. It's too much. I was getting the shit kicked out of me in my first year of wrestling, but I did meet Sammy, and Sammy was my boy. I was kind of like growing up. I was kind of like a timid kid. I really didn't. I really didn't grow into, I guess, who I was going to be until like the 8th grade, going into high school.
Okay.
I was kind of a different kid. I was kind of like a computer nerd. I was kind of like
no shit.
Really?
Like,
was not expecting that.
I was like pale. They stayed inside.
You didn't touch grass.
Yeah, I didn't touch grass. Yeah, for a while. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, dude. And then I don't know. I just started. I played baseball my whole life.
Yeah.
And I kind of, that was something me and my dad loved, the New York Yankees. So growing up, my life was like baseball. I had glasses. I was like pale. I didn't, I was like I was like a timid kid growing up. I kind of changed when I kind of lost my dad. That's kind of where everything kind of changed. And then I got a little edge to me going into middle school. And
what age was that?
12 years old.
Damn.
12 years old, I lost my pops. Yeah.
Damn.
So after that, it kind of just started this metamorphosis in me that kind of took me from a scared little boy to a man, kind of.
I'm sure.
Like man of the household, so to speak.
Yeah, but it translated into a lot of anger in my younger years. It got me into a lot of trouble.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I can't imagine, like, right, normal teenager going through that teenage angst shit is already a lot. And then that adding on to the, you're losing your dad at 12, and then the loss, and then now you're the man in the house, kind of.
It's tough.
Transitions a lot.
It's tough when you don't have a good male influence.
Yeah.
That's why I try to be there for some of the young guys on the mat that I see, that kind of, I feel like they could, some of them, they could easily lose their way. They need a strong male influence. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe they don't have the best one. But for me, I was always looking for that. And I caused a lot of destruction on the way, finding some good mentors that kind of straightened me out throughout the years. But I was feeling that angst. It's hard when you don't know, when you don't have he was like my best buddy.
Yeah.
So when I don't have my best buddy around and my example for who to look to as a man moving into that headspace, it's tough as a kid. You start making mistakes.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
And like a lot of times too is like growing up with a father figure in your life, whoever you are, whether it's your dad, biological, or whatever, stepdad, you still have someone like when you make that mistake to then go talk to about.
Absolutely.
And I can't imagine what it's like in your shoes. You don't have someone, if you fuck up, even getting yelled at, it's like, oh, okay, now I at least have an idea. I got nothing.
Well, my mom was really great. My mom did both roles growing up. My mom was tough as shit. That's on impressive. Me. And my mom was, she's the greatest. I love my mom so much. We have a great relationship. She did the best that she possibly could.
Shout out to her.
Shout out mom. She was a total warrior, total badass. I was raised by 3 awesome women, my mom and her 2 sisters, and, grew up with my sisters. So I grew up with a lot of women, she tried her best, but I needed some positive male influence. It came in the form of people that I met at jiu-jitsu, really, primarily. That's kind of where my life took a different path. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
What age was jiu-jitsu initially?
That's actually what I was going to ask.
The first time I ever stepped into a jiu-jitsu gym, I was 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm 38 now, so it's like almost 20 years.
Fuck. Wow. Dude, you're 38. That's wild to think. Yeah. That's wild to think. You don't look
at in your 30s is weird.
I mean, it just happens, dude. Yeah. One day you're just like, it's all good though. It's
my back hurts every morning now. Why?
Dude, I mean, people are like 38. Are you like, I'm like, no, dude. I mean, I expected this. I was 37 last year. Like some dude one day, like I have one of my students, I'm not going to name him, whatever. Some great guy. But he was 49. He's like about to be 50. He's freaking out. He's like, dude, about to be 50. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like, bro, it's not like you didn't have 49 years to prepare for this moment. What the fuck? Like, dude, you should have seen this shit coming. Like,
it's guaranteed.
It could have freaked out last year.
Yeah, that's funny.
You could do a lot of living in 1 year.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, you did wrestling in 8th grade. Was like 8th grade, 13?
Yeah, so I was 13, and I
So what sports did you do between that 1 year wrestling and starting at 18 at jiu-jitsu?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing?
Pretty much nothing. I went through high school not really doing any sports. I played ball my whole life as a kid.
Basketball?
And then, no, baseball. Baseball, yeah. And then when I got to high school, I really didn't do any sports, except I got really into like lifting and powerlifting. So I was on doing this powerlifting competition we would have at the high school that would combine your bench clean and your squat. and then like divide it by a coefficient based on your weight to see how pound for pound strong you were. So I was always trying to move up the ranks in that.
Dude, that's intellectual as fuck for a high school.
Oh,
man.
dude, we actually had such a sick strength and conditioning like program or gym at that high school. It was actually way ahead of its time. That's where I learned how to do like cleans and cleans properly. Like all these Olympic lifts was from some of the sport coaches that were just hanging around at the gym at Livingston. It was actually really good for me coming up, man. But it really was one of the things that kept me kind of on the straight and narrow in high school.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I was going to the weight room.
I'm picturing my high school stuff with all that too, because I didn't do much lifting. But we had a coach, Coach Kurst. He was a lacrosse goalie from Rutgers. But he looked like Mr. Incredible. Like that's who he looked like. And he put on like 3 plates and just rep out bench. And you're like, what the? At 15, you're like, holy crap!
I got so much nostalgia from like. You know, dudes just putting up incredible weight in the gym, and you're like 12 years old, and you're like, oh my God. It's like local legend. Actually, the guy who got me into training at AMA Fight Club was this dude, Chris Volo, so a fighter from Livingston, actually. One of the original founding members of the AMA Fight Club team. He, the local legend was, you know, Volo can squat 800 pounds. And like, you know, people had seen him do it and shit like that. But, you know, I just got crazy memories, just like, yeah. My cousin's throwing every free weight I had in my gym, like on the bench, just repping it.
Dude, you know, as a young like boy at that point, it is really fun when you start to go into the weight room. You're like, this is fucking awesome,
time, dude.
Yeah. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna look hot for the women.
Well, I mean, it's everything. It's the working on yourself. It's the camaraderie. It's just awesome when you're a young kid and you're like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take protein powder and I'm gonna get big.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fuck, that's awesome.
Fun.
So then, that definitely. How did that factor in when you first started jiu-jitsu? Because usually when people are coming in big and strong, right, they think they're probably gonna fucking run people. But I know you had the bags.
I was always a pretty good athlete, and I was very flexible. I spent time as a kid doing like we had a trampoline in the backyard, so I would always do like flips and tricks and stuff. And I used to do, when I was doing that year of wrestling, I would do I would do some private lessons. My mom would take me for private lessons, and there was like the guy was a wrestling and gymnastics coach. So I would do a little bit of gymnastics, so I kind of knew my body better than most people. Just being like kind of, you know, able to like do like a candlestick on my head, you know, like a handstand, stuff like that. And 1 year of wrestling, and it helped, you know, and I was able to kind of, and I was big and strong. So I was able to like I gravitated towards being a guard player right away, even though I was like a bigger guy. Yeah. And, and then because for the first few years in jiu-jitsu, I was like 200 pounds.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
What do you walk at now?
I can be like anywhere from like 170, 175.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn, 100 pounds, man.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when I was like 155 in jiu-jitsu for like a long time. I was a purple belt. I was like 155. I was like mad skinny.
Yeah. You had the, I think, I always tell you this, but I don't remember going with you, but we definitely crossed paths at AMA because I trained there. And the old in Whippany, for Jamie.
Yeah.
Fuck.
What an amazing place. That was where I really, I started at this one place and that didn't really work out. And then, I had like 8 months of training underneath my belt. And I just kind of left that school and I was kind of like, man, jiu-jitsu is weird. You know, you go to the wrong school, it can really sour your opinion of the sport. People that, you know, train at Pure are like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, we've been spoiled with that experience.
But also this was 20 years ago too. So like,
this is a long time ago.
So like,
jiu-jitsu was completely different.
It's a different environment.
Jiu-jitsu wasn't friendly. Jiu-jitsu wasn't for everybody back then. You know, it really wasn't.
And you couldn't cross-train. You couldn't
cross-train.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of weird McDojo rules, you know, and that's why when I went to AMA and met Jamie, he was just like he was a very serious jiu-jitsu guy, but an unserious human being in a very disarming way and very charming, very honest, it was very comforting. But the training was real. The training was brutal. And there was none of that tribal team shit. He was always like, yo, go train somewhere else. Find something sick, bring it back here. Let's all learn it.
Wow.
So like, you know, back then that was really a selling point. I was being like, okay, I can train with Jamie. I can also train with other people. He's not going to be upset unless it's like a direct competitor to AMA or something, you know?
Yeah. What do you think is your opinion? I mean, just strictly your opinion back in the day there was a lot of tribalism in jiu-jitsu?
I think that's like an old school Brazilian thing.
Okay.
That's like left over from like the old school Brazilian culture where it's like the jiu-jitsu was tribal. I mean, if you read Choke, there's a book it's like a historical account of the origins of jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. It's like, it is very tribal. It's very political in its origins. And sometimes it's hard to get rid of those systems as time progresses. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like a relic of the past, kind of how this sport was founded, what the sport was founded upon. Which back in the day, there was no BJJ fanatics. There was rarely any. It was like, do not watch YouTube to try to get better at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It was like, so it was like, if your instructor didn't teach deep half, you know what I mean? Yeah. You had to go somewhere to learn deep half, and you better hope they better never find out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was like, you had to go and get those techniques if you wanted them in your game. You know what I mean? There weren't DVDs out. There wasn't like this place to learn. So the knowledge was hidden and protected. So you had these guys that being like, you know, one of the classic things was like, hey man, I want to say yes to training, but cross training, but like, what if you learn my move system and you go teach it over there to one of our competitors and they use it to beat us? It doesn't make any sense. So it's like this hoarding of this knowledge that was weaponized, mm-hmm. you know, against people, which fucking bullshit, obviously. Yeah. You know, the BJJ Fanatics was like the greatest thing that ever happened to jiu-jitsu, but the worst thing that ever happened to those guys. Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. Right. It's the old guard. So how did you go to, what pushed you to go to that first gym before MMA?
At Guerrero's? Oh, yeah. I just said that. Johnny Guerrero's, man. Good guy. But, you know, I just didn't, it wasn't working out at the time. But, mm-hmm. Shy out. I didn't want to say. But, I was always super, super interested mm-hmm. in, MMA. Mm-hmm. Because I loved pro wrestling as a kid so much that I watched all different types of pro wrestling. I watched the WWE, mm-hmm. then I watched WCW. I even had this thing on like TNA for a while, and I watched all of it all the time. And I would go to my Aunt Carol's house, and she had this crazy black box from Japan that would just pick up all these crazy international channels. Sick. So I'm just like sitting there binge watching pro wrestling, and then I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's Pride Fighting Championship. So it's like, damn. So like my introduction to this is like, I'm like 13, 14 years old watching, like Sakuraba and all the greats in Pride, you know, on like these reruns on this weird black box my mm-hmm. aunt used to get. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, cause back in the first couple of Prides, it was like they would have a pro wrestling match and then a real fight, and mm-hmm. then a pro wrestling match and then a real fight. And then like they had like I remember they had like this jiu-jitsu demonstration, the Gracie jiu-jitsu demonstration at Pride. And that was what really got me into jiu-jitsu. It was Hickson Gracie and Hoyler Gracie doing their Gracie jiu-jitsu demo at Pride. And wow. So I got into that. I was like, man, this looks like pro wrestling, but the moves are real. So you know, I was like, so cool.
Was this like their demonstration was obviously just a jiu-jitsu match? This wasn't like when they went into the UFC with their gi and fought and showed jiu-jitsu.
So Hickson Gracie fought in Pride in the first few Prides. Mm-hmm. Hoyce was representing the family in the UFC.
Got it.
And Hoyler and Hickson did this technique demo where they were doing like knife disarms. Somebody tries to hit you with a 2x4. They were like wrapping the arm and judo throwing them.
That's pretty sick.
So they went through self-defense and they went through sport. And they were showing judo throws. They were showing like tomonagi into like lifting into twisting like helicopter arm bars. Mm-hmm. You know, so they were just showing. Then they went into a sparring portion where they were rolling, but it was obviously they were like kind of like flow rolling. Mm-hmm. But they were hamming it up to make it look cool. You know, and
that's actually impressive. Just like I'm thinking, how if I were to do that to make it look cool, like you really have to know your shit.
You guys should watch it. It's actually amazing to see the demonstration. It's really cool. That was the thing that got me into it. I was like, these are like all the pro wrestling moves that I like. I like the guys who are like the grapplers, the technical grapplers. Mm-hmm. But I was like the technical pro wrestlers. This is where all those moves originate from. Is like this grappling thing. So I was like, huh. First thing I saw was Hickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get into this. Yeah. And then I started getting into MMA, so I started going to Blockbuster at the time. I started making my aunt drive me to Blockbuster. You know, dude, I'm like 13 years old at the time. You know, I'm like, can we go to Blockbuster? I'm getting UFC VHSs. Yeah. And then like, you know, I'm buying and trading UFC tapes. My buddy's dad had Pride VHS tapes, and he would like give them to me. Uh-huh. And I would watch all the different Prides, and just got more and more into it, man. I remember watching The Smashing Machine, the original documentary. That one was crazy. Like on Mark Kerr, that one actually got me like crazy into it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. Yeah, it's nuts.
But fucking dude, I love. But you're bringing back nostalgia for me. Except for me, it wasn't UFC DVDs or VHS. I would do the WWE. I would get the pay per view.
Yeah,
I can get it. Fuck.
Yeah,
man.
I used to, please mom get the pay per view. And turn into please mom get the UFC pay per view.
I fucking
You
love
know what
it.
I mean? I made my mom one time for my birthday buy Tito Ortiz versus Randy Couture.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
shit.
that was like one of the original times they fought. Like I think the first time they fought.
That's
So
probably
where Randy spanked him on the butt. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Oh man,
Might be 2002, 2003.
holy! So you were like the
young.
OG.
Young
shit,
dude.
man.
Young.
Fuck. 2002.
Into MMA for a while, and then I started finally training it. Like when I at the very end of high school, like straight right when high school was over.
So I want to take a little bit of step back because around 2002 you would have been how old? Because you're 88, right? So about 14 years old, 13, 14.
Yeah, something like that sounds right.
So do you think? Because I know you said like after your pops passed, right? And then it sort of brought out that you needed to be a man type thing, but there was also a lot of anger, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's what was subconsciously translating into you getting into the fighting a lot, like because you liked seeing the battle?
100%, dude. 100%. My mom always says, she's like, you went from watching Bill Nye the Science Guy to WWE overnight. And then it was like reflective in a lot of like my in school, interactions with kids too. I was just getting into fights.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I started getting into fights all the time. I got into fights all the time in middle school and high school. It was a little different back then, but
Yeah,
it was a little normal.
Yeah,
a little more normal.
It was.
You could fight back
It was
then.
like once a quarter there would be a big fight.
Bro, I remember back in the day, there would be times where I don't even remember what this fight was about, but I remember like fighting like 20 kids versus like 20 kids.
Yeah.
And we all just met in the
'Cause
field and
they
just
were
like
everyone's
charged
bored.
at each other like Braveheart.
Yeah.
And it was like a free for all, but you knew who to fight. Like I knew like, oh, this guy's on my team, this guy's not.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what happened. I can't even tell you what that one was about. But like that was just like being a kid, I guess, back then,
That reminds me of the Outsiders, the Greasers versus Socials.
Yeah.
Just beat the shit out of each
We
other.
had some, it was just a lot more. It was just a lot more normal, I guess. Now kids fight and everybody goes crazy. I guess but
Yeah. Fuck.
Another thing too is random little kid now pulls out an armbar like holy shit he knows jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, now you can see even teenagers can really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since I started training, the amount of physical altercations I've gotten into is like zero.
Yeah. I was gonna say
I got into one since I started training, and that was when I was 19. My stepdad, and I got into a big crazy brawl. Yeah,
Damn.
So you're in training
You're in.
a year in. Yeah,
So you're a blue belt?
it didn't really help.
and you're 200 pounds there too.
No, it didn't really help though. He was whooping my ass. Whooping my ass, And then he slipped and fell, and thank God. And I got on top of him and kind of like evened the score a little bit. But it was a fucked up one.
Damn.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
We had it. I had something because he moved in, and it was a tough time.
Yeah.
It was a tough time. I had to. Oh, he kicked my ass a few times. Growing up. So I went from having my dad, who was like my best friend, my protector, my guy. He used to take me everywhere with him when I was a little kid. It's not like he never left me out when I was a kid. And then my stepdad moved in. He was cool in the beginning. Then he started getting crazy, Beat the shit out of me a couple of times, It's
Fuck.
a tough way. It's,
Yeah.
It's like the yin and the yang almost.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I for a long time, my life was pretty rough. It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
And I was down. I don't want to say I was hanging out with the wrong crowd because I don't regret hanging out with any of my friends. Sam was one of my friends for my whole life. A few other guys that, to this day I love to death. And forever and always. But that led me to being in a friend group that was. It could have ended in total disaster, and for some of my friends, it totally did. I lost my best friend before he was 30 years old. You know what I mean? And that was extremely rough, you know, because he and I were like, bro, like brothers. Mm-hmm. He was just the crazier version of me, you know. That Hunter S. Thompson quote is like too weird to live, too rare to die type of thing, and that's how I felt about him. You know what I mean? So he was just built differently for this earth. Yeah. But so some of us made it out, some of us didn't, and it's all kind of connected to a rough childhood. Honestly, it wasn't easy. You know,
sure. You guys almost confided in each other in that little group that you had.
Yeah, I mean, all of us had odd relationships, you know, with family or dads or whatever else. It was just a band of misfits in Livingston. You know, it was tough because we grew up in a town that was kind of a well-to-do town, but we were like I don't want to say poor, but we weren't that, you know, well off. Yeah. Really. You know, my mom was doing what she could to get us through that experience, you know? And, you know, we kind of banded together like that because, you know, Livingston was a very cliquey town to grow up in, you know? There's certain demographics that rule that area. Yes. And they like to stick together. Yes. And, you know, how you doing? And
same department.
We're talking about Italians.
Yeah, there's a few different demographics, not just one. But they like to be in their own groups, you know? So we kind of were like this ragtag group of kids who kind of didn't belong there, I feel like. And, you know, that got us into some trouble. It made for a lot of fun, though.
Oh, sure.
It made for I got to stress, a lot of fun. But we had a lot of tough times between all of us. You know, between all my friends. They were all talented, or some of them were really troubled. And some of them are still, you know, figuring it out. Okay. And, from that time, you know. But
fuck.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I mean, I think I'm piecing together based off of Sam's story and your story to see how it all fits together. But the funny thing is, with the both of you, the common denominator and what seems to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, the getting you back onto the right path was the jiu-jitsu, was the martial arts.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it did. I mean, people say, you know, jiu-jitsu changed my life. Jiu-jitsu really did change my life. Jiu-jitsu totally took me from one path to the other, and I really just woke up one day and wanted to change my life. I was really headed into a weird spot, you know, where it was, you know, I was just with a weird group of guys, weird, you know, doing some illicit activities every now and then. And, you know, the cops in my town knew me and stuff like that. Okay. And I had you know, it was very easy. Life could have gone one way. And I literally woke up one day and I was just like, I gotta put an end to this. Cause I've been raging against the machine since my dad died here, you know? And it's time for me to kind of quit the anger thing and at least try to move this energy into a positive place. You know what I mean? Transmute this energy, this crazy rage that I have, and put it into something else that can propel me somewhere forward where maybe I can help some people. Maybe I can do something good. And that was my motivation for training, but training for me in the beginning was just about saving myself. Mm-hmm. You know, I only after I kind of saved myself for jiu-jitsu, you know, they say you have to put your air mask on before you can put somebody else's on. Assist them, you know, on the plane, right? Yeah. But I had to do that for myself first before I could help anybody else. It was once jiu-jitsu started changing my life and started, you know, it changed everything, bro. It changed everything because before jiu-jitsu, I was kind of you know, I had a different attitude about life. I was kind of, this is a lot to do with my instructor, my mentor, Jamie Cruz, who kind of showed me that, you know, you have a choice in life. You know, you can be positive or you can just kind of woe is me and kind of, you know, put your feet through the mud and you can kind of have this victim mindset, which is a lot of people get stuck in that. Mm-hmm. And our ego doesn't save us from that ever. It usually pushes us there.
Yeah, I was going to say that. And the other thing too is that victim mindset can be addicting too.
100%, dude. It's very freeing to not take responsibility for things. You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, the one thing jiu-jitsu taught me is I'm responsible for everything that happens to me. Jamie told me on the mat, he said, you know, everything that happens to you on the mat is kind of your fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, damn. And I kind of used that. I was like, damn, everything that happens to me is kind of my fault. you know, this shitty place I found myself in my life outside of high school, right out of high school, where I wasn't going to college. I was running with the wrong group of guys. I was making my money illegally. I was doing, you know, all types of stuff for thrills. It just kind of, it made me kind of be real with myself. You know what I mean? It kind of flipped a switch for me.
That's what I was going to ask you, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to realize that your life is heading in a trajectory and you need to change it. So were the extracurriculars, we'll call them, was that the realization where you were like, I got to stop, or was there something else?
I'll tell you, yeah, there was an event. I had a realization.
Okay.
So I used to hang out with these, there's no better way to describe it. I used to hang out with these like hood rat kids. Mm-hmm. And one day they were like, and we were making money together. We were doing little schemes together and stuff like that. You know, we had some good ones going. Mm-hmm. But, then one day they're like, hey, I want to get fucked up like you white boys get fucked up. I want to do some mushrooms. We want to do some mushrooms. Can you get us some mushrooms? I was like, yeah, I can get you guys some mushrooms. You know? So I got some mushrooms for these guys, and we were going to do them in this basement of this house. And we all take the mushrooms, about 45 minutes to start kicking in. And we took a dose, like 3.5 grams of mushrooms.
I'm saying, geez, that sounds like a lot. I wouldn't know.
It's a lot. It's enough to have a very, profound experience, to say the least. A very powerful experience. And I'm sitting there. These kids just start freaking out, dude. You know what I mean? They're bugging out. They're all screwed up. And I'm like looking around, and I start feeling the mushrooms, and I'm like, if I don't change my life, I'm going to be with these people forever. Damn. I was like, if I don't, I started to realize how every decision I've ever made has hurt everyone I've ever loved. I started to feel the rippling consequences of my own actions all at once.
Through the mushrooms?
Through the mushrooms.
Oh my God.
You know, and it's like, it gives you this insane perspective, this bird's eye view of your own life that you really don't get to experience when your ego, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, you're clouding everything. You know, they're always clouding for survival. Mm-hmm. What the ego dissolution, when you take, you know, over like 3 grams of mushrooms, it's profound, so profound that it provides this, like I said, this alternative perspective that you've never really been considering, or that you really, I kind of is always been there, but you don't realize. Mm-hmm. So I had this massive realization in the middle of hanging in this basement with all these fucking less than desirable people.
Like, how do I get out of here without them noticing?
Like, I literally was like, thanks for the shrooms, guys, but I'm out. You know what I mean? I'll see you later. And I drove my ass home. Very interesting drive. I made it. It wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But yeah. I literally got up and enrolled in community college the next day and decided that I was going to try jiu-jitsu.
Oh, dude,
change.
That's it.
So that's when you decided to do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, after a massive mushroom trip.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, because you're talking about like the ego dissolution, and I geek out on that, where you were feeling the actual emotions of what you caused other people.
Dude. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know,
mind fuck.
A bad trip is like being in hell. But what is hell? It's just, you know, just being in the hot seat of all the bad things you've ever done to anybody else. Is just like kind of sitting there and really feeling it.
Do you know what's crazy about that? A little side tangent. This reminds me of like, have you ever heard of the Tibetan Book of the Dead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you die and you go through and they make you yes,
and you experience the pain
yes
that you caused others through their eyes,
bro.
And you know, mushrooms can be a sobering if you use it the right way. Mm-hmm. If you're not dumbing yourself down, you know, and you're using the experience to really go inside introspectively, you know, with intention, you can really gain some priceless information about yourself, you know.
Damn, and for you, it was unintentional, but it was good unintentional.
It was unintentional. Yeah, and then, you know, a lot had been going on in my life at that time. I had I just gotten my like house raided, you know, by and I was in court and I was on trial every weekend. It was terrible. It was like going to court, and then that all worked out, thank God. Mm-hmm. But I could have been a convicted felon, you know, at some point in my life, man.
Holy shit.
So
And that's hard to adjust from. I mean, we know a bunch of people through the gym and all that. So like in the jiu-jitsu world,
it would have changed. It would have changed everything.
But
yeah. I mean, it would have changed everything.
You can be a convicted felon and still run a jiu-jitsu gym, but it's still just a blemish on there that makes it harder. And then to get to that point, because you weren't even training at the time, to get to the point of that, like you still need a job. So you got that's a blessing right there.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome though.
So I changed my life around, started going to community college. I started doing going to school, working, and doing jiu-jitsu full time. So every single hour of my day, and going to the gym. Like, so I was still going to the gym, was going to jiu-jitsu, was going to school full time, and working full time. That's when I started getting into the service industry, which was really good for me as I kind of built jiu-jitsu on into the future. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what I was doing for a really long time. Like, through every year of college, just like full time, every hour, school, working, training. And then as soon as school was over, I took all the hours I was doing at school and put them into training.
Love that.
Yeah. When I was a purple belt, I was training like 14 times a week.
Holy crap.
14 times a week.
And I would get crazy about if I wasn't training. I would get so crazy if I didn't hit 14. Because I had a schedule where sometimes I was hitting 3 days,
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude.
That's like professional fighter.
I was trying so hard to get good. I wanted to be good so bad, so fast. I was so about it. I was so ready to undo all the pain and regret in my life that it just was like this like rocket fuel that kind of fueled me through this transformation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, if I didn't hit 14 classes a week, I used to get crazy anxiety. Jamie used to pull me aside and be like, dude, you are overtraining. You need to go home. And I'd be like, I'm good, dude. Put me in there, coach.
He's like, I'm
you're here with falling apart, dude. Falling apart. Yeah. I just loved it so much. I loved it so much. I still do.
Yeah.
I still love it so much,
It's your life now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's my life now.
It's your career. It's your life.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
It's been a wild journey, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's been so crazy. I remember my first day at AMA, I met Andy Main.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. We had a conversation for like 20 minutes in the parking lot.
That's awesome.
He was already like a fighter at that point. He didn't owe me any sort of like manners and niceness. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation in the parking lot just about training. And I just was like, I hope I stay friends with that guy. And then I mean, it's just crazy going from him teaching me to us being training partners, to us being friends, to us, from me being at Pure 1.0, starting from the very beginning, having the Friday class to help out with, being one of the, I think I came in maybe a little bit under a year after they first opened, but then I was one of the founding instructors after that point. You know what I mean? So it's just been an incredible, worthwhile, unbelievable journey with the Main brothers that, I mean, I hope that everybody in their life gets to experience the level of friendship that I've had with these two guys. They've just been, they've never changed. They're the salt of the earth, best human beings I've ever met. And the opportunities that I've been given through just being friends with them have changed my life. And has allowed me to spread goodwill and jiu-jitsu to hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of people. And I've been able to float my life and do this professionally, because of all you guys. Mm-hmm. So it's just this one big feel-good event that just keeps going, So I'm totally grateful for it.
Hell yeah. That's deep. And it's also not a bad thing to know how to defend yourself as your livelihood, right?
Yeah,
you fucking
100%.
Fuck yeah. Would you say that conversation? Because one of the questions I had thought about this morning that I wanted to ask you was, when you started jiu-jitsu, when did you know this is going to be a forever thing? Was it that conversation with Andy, or was it your first role? What was that?
I think just when I got with when I started training with Jamie, yeah, I was like, I want to get a black belt under this dude. I want to train with him. I want to learn as much jiu-jitsu as I can. I want to steal his good vibes and energy. I want to be like this guy. Mm-hmm. And then I made some really good friendships, like my first buddy in jiu-jitsu, Tom Hales. From day one we were together, so I was always like, I'm gonna see this through with my friends. So I decided that pretty early on, dude. I would say around like when I got my blue belt, I was like, I'm not stopping until I get a black belt at least, or I'll see where this thing takes me. I never thought I would do it. I never thought I would teach. I never thought I was going to college to be a lawyer. That was my thing. That was what I had in my head.
Wow.
To be a lawyer.
Wow.
Yeah. I graduated with honors. I had academic scholarship, free ride, college.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Good shit.
I thought that I was going to go and take that to higher education. And then I said...
This picture is hilarious. I love this. Straight A student. Great school.
After. Straight A student after the psychedelic experience.
Yes. Okay.
So in high school, I was just like...
Degenerate kid.
I don't even know how they graduated in high school, dude.
Misfit kid. Pushed out of high school.
I got expelled my senior year in high school.
They graduated you so that you didn't come back. They didn't want to deal with you.
Wait, how'd you get expelled? Can you share that or no?
Dude. I did some crazy shit, dude.
You don't have to share if you don't want to.
All right. Oh, wow. I'll just give you the extreme cliff notes.
Yes.
I threw a desk out a window that was closed. So,
nice.
Oh, nice.
I broke the window.
Window.
I created a window.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was a mess. I mean, I had like a...
Fuck, dude.
The transition you've gone through is just... it's humans do some wild things, but you were, a misfit kid going through your teenage angst, dealing with all your traumas and stuff from your growing up, right? And then you're like, mushrooms, shit, I need to change my life. I'm doing jiu-jitsu, sign up for school. And then you had a scholarship to go to get your bachelor's degree and go towards a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, nope. You almost a felon too, and then going to be a lawyer too.
Yeah, dude. I almost took on a whole bunch of debt for grad school and stuff. And I was weighing the decision, and I was just like, dude, I just want to take 1 year and train. Is that cool? Can I just take 1 year and train? And I was like, to my family, I was like, please, don't be mad at me if I do this. And my mom was mad at me, but she was like, all right, just go ahead. And then that year, kind of a year after that, I moved to Florida. For, I think 6 months.
Okay.
8 months. I was down there training. That changed my whole jiu-jitsu thing. I was training down there with Pablo Popovich.
Okay, damn.
I took some time off. Yeah, I moved down to Miami with a friend. It was a really cool, fun time in my life. And then I was like, that was my plan. I was like, I'm going to move down to Miami for a little bit. And then I'm going to train jiu-jitsu real serious. And I'm going to come back better. And then we'll see what's up. And then when I came back to New Jersey, I had a lot of teaching opportunities. I was a purple belt. They wanted me to teach some classes at AMA. I had already been at AMA, helping out behind the desk and subbing classes as a blue belt every once in a while. When I got my purple belt, I got my own class at 7 a.m. at AMA back in the day.
Sick.
Yeah, so I started the 7 a.m. program over there. And, then it just started happening, more and more opportunities. I started booking private lessons at purple belt. My first private lesson client consistently was Rob Alex.
No way.
He's up by the gym.
Shout out Rob. So, I was a purple belt. He was a white belt. He was a beast wrestler on the mat. And he was just like, yo, teach me jiu-jitsu, man.
That's so Rob, dude.
Sick. Yeah. Guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him. He's killing it down at Colton's, and great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. But he was my first consistent guy that I had. And then I just started teaching everywhere. I was teaching at Jamie's. I was teaching because we left AMA, and then at one point, and the whole thing blew up over there.
I from what I've heard, the story was everyone just split up, all the main people, and then just opened up their own gyms.
Yeah. There was this program director dude who kind of screwed everything up. This guy ruined everything.
Damn.
To be honest with you, this is kind of a jerk off, and he's gone now forever. Nobody even knows where this guy is, but whatever. Mm-hmm. The fight team left. People started opening up their own schools. People were going abandoning ship, and everything worked out. Hellwig took over the program, and he does an amazing job to this day. He is one of my best buddies in this sport. I love that guy. He is doing amazing. Mm-hmm. But when Jamie started to be phased out of the picture, that was very controversial, and it was very hard for me to deal with, and a lot of other people that were very, very fiercely loyal to him. Mm-hmm. So when he started Renzo Gracie Woodland Park, we kind of went with him, you know? Mm-hmm. And that was the start of something new too.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah. So
I would say that
we got some company outside.
Getting some company outside
parks.
No, it's because it's because they sense the real dog in here. Yeah, I know.
Dogs outside.
So you guys train in Woodland Park? 'Cause I know that you. When I started in 2020, you were teaching not only at Woodland, but also Pure.
I was teaching at Woodland Park. I started when AMA actually reopened in Cedar Knolls. I started teaching 1 day a week for them.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was teaching. I'm still teaching at the Renzo Gracie Fort Lee. Mm-hmm. I was teaching like in 2022 or 3. We opened up at Colton's. I was teaching down there for a while.
Okay, yeah.
And so I would do that. I've been teaching all over the place, a bunch of different places. I taught at Blue Titan for many years, the Krav Maga school. Yeah. Krav Maga and CrossFit. My buddy Eric Bassett gave me a job there in 2016, and I was there until COVID hit, and that place was awesome for me because that place allowed me to leave the restaurant business and go full time into jiu-jitsu. It kind of springboarded me into that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, he gave me an opportunity to help run his gym, which didn't really work out, but it was fine in the long run. We're still really good boys. And I was able to get a lot of lifelong private clients from there. Mm-hmm. And it kind of let me build up my client base during that time where I could just be doing that and only doing that.
Let me ask you this. What's the biggest change from when you go as a practitioner to teaching?
I mean, there's a lot of changes. You have to be a lot less selfish mm-hmm. When you're training and with your time. You have to be when I'm doing private lessons with somebody, it's a personal relationship. This is their escape for the hour. Mm-hmm. So it has to be very tailor-made and personal for them. I can't just throw all the moves I think that are gonna, it's like my favorite moves. It's got to be the stuff that's gonna be good for you based on this and that. And you got to have a degree of patience because, I would book private lessons back in the day, and I'd be like to Jamie, I'd be complaining. And I'd be like, I got a private with this guy, but he fucking drives me nuts. And Jamie would say something. He'd be like, he's teaching you patience.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, damn.
Send
them in.
There's always a lesson.
Send them in. Send them in. And that just changed my brain. He was always about that.
Yeah.
Just changed my perspective real easily on stuff, mm-hmm. Real fast. But, yeah. It changes in a lot of ways, You got to be you're everybody's coach. Sometimes you're the therapist. Sometimes they want you're their friend, but you got to keep it real with them too. So you got to be okay with having sometimes uncomfortable conversations,
yeah.
Hey man, you need to train harder. Mm-hmm. You need to go after.
You need to wash your gi.
You need to wash your gi. You need to wash your ass, brother. But
put that too much. Yeah.
You got to keep it real for these people. You got to keep it playful for them. You got to always have your energy, yourself balanced. I can't bring any of my stress and my bullshit onto the mat when it's time for me to teach people in a group setting. Mm-hmm. If I bring my shit attitude to Wednesday night fights when I got 60 to 80 people watching me teach, people are going to feel it. The mm-hmm. class just won't be as fun. Mm-hmm. So you
wouldn't get to 60 people in the class then.
Exactly. If you have shitty vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the most mind-blowing thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a million people try to be successful with this, and people
with
shitty vibes be like, I'm teaching good shit. How come people aren't coming to my classes? It's like, dude. That right there. Mm-hmm. Like that fucking whining that you're doing right there.
Yeah.
That it's good jiu-jitsu. You should be at my class. Like this entitlement.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
That's it.
You gotta earn people's time. And trust.
You have to respect their time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I understand that this is everybody's escape. Mm-hmm. Jiu-jitsu is so fucking awesome because it allows normal people to tap into some warrior shit that's all inside all of us. It's literally inside all of us. Everybody wants to live an interesting and worthwhile life, and jiu-jitsu is a really crazy hack to do that, in my opinion, because it's a really great escape from the monotony of a lot of people's everyday life. You can go and work on yourself and do some warrior shit. That's like some Game of Thrones. You beat the next guy and you take his place. You know what I mean? And you're like, there's nothing more satisfying than when you finally chase down somebody who's been whooping your ass for years and you're like, I got my first tap on that son of a bitch today.
Yeah.
Then going home and answering the emails and doing the bullshit, it stings a little bit less.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody needs a spot to flex out. And the human history, it's been thousands and thousands of years of struggle. We live in the most peaceful time, and we think we just turned that off. That struggle. Like, everybody's still like thinking our collective DNA is like, when are the invaders going to roll in from the village over yonder and try to take everything? You know what I mean? And you see that a lot today with the tribalism, well, tribalism politically, tribalism in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's never been
just
more
day-to-day life. Right? At the store, driving, all that, you see just the angst.
But struggle connects us all. Struggle connects us all. And that's why we love jiu-jitsu. Because we can all struggle together and work on ourselves. We can all be a better version of ourselves through this shared struggling. Yeah. And it's a great dissolution of the ego without having to take 3.5 grams of mushrooms in a basement full of shady motherfuckers.
It's the legal way.
Dude, it's also another funny thing when you train with all of your friends, or they become your friends, right? Training partners that you're used to. If someone else comes in and cross trains, your reptilian brain turns on like, oh, this guy's an enemy, even though he's
like,
not.
Who is this motherfucker?
It's not he's an enemy. It's like, he might be an enemy. We're gonna be on guard. We're ready to go.
I always say when it's like open mat and all these guys come, like the night before open mat, if I got the guys lined up, I'll be like, hey, listen, you guys come to open mat tomorrow, but you can't lose. All right, you're representing the house, okay? Like, you got to beat the invaders up. But there's something to be said about that. That's fun. It's always like, we're going to bring in this, like, other school, this other culture, and see how ours matches up. It's human nature. Everybody wants to see that. That's where kind of conflict can be used to really propel you forward. Your best friend on the mat is your toughest roll.
Absolutely, yeah.
Your toughest roll. And I don't mean like tough in the sense like, man, this hurts, I get squashed every time. It's like the toughest roll is like, I don't know who's going to win today. I roll with this guy, and sometimes he beats my ass. Sometimes I beat his ass. It's all about who wants it. Who's willing to get a little crazier today. You know what I mean? And that's your toughest roll. That's your most revealing. That's the one that reveals to you, in that day, you can be a champion or you can be a fucking bitch.
Yeah. What I like about jiu-jitsu too is like, it doesn't necessarily even have to be like he got the tap and I got the tap. Like, there's some lower belts. It's like, I can't hit a fucking single submission. I can't. Anthony Scotty, I cannot pass his quarter guard. It gets me stuck in. Like, he
is annoying, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good with that quarter guard.
He's fucking annoying, that kid.
The way you said that, he is annoying, isn't he?
That quarter guard. But like, my point is like, so you can go against.
You guys get along politically, right?
Oh, very much. Very much. Scotty, I like you.
Shout out to Anthony Scotty. He's a
soccer
interesting guy.
Soccer and politics, we 100% get along. He'll agree. He'll laugh and agree.
But the point is, like, you can have that blue belt and you're a black belt, and you have like, I love rolling with you. It's a war, but like, you're not going to tap me as a blue belt. But you're like, you won't let me pass you. You give me the hardest fucking roll. It's like, I love that.
Yeah. So, to piggyback off what you're saying, sometimes when you go against like a lower belt who's been training for a bit and they're giving you a problem at first, you're like, what the fuck? And then
your ego gets you in a way because you're like, how dare this guy get better?
Right.
He should know I'm higher ranked than him.
Dude, I know we're talking about Jamie a lot here, but he would just hit me with the most sobering moments. I mean, one time I remember just like, same exact thing. I was going against somebody who I usually kick the shit out of. And at that time I had a little bit harder time with him than normal. And I sat down and I was like upset, just like sitting there, shaking my head. How dare this guy? And then Jamie looked at me and goes, looked like me, like this incredulous look. He was just like, oh, it's like they get better or something. And it just disarmed me for life.
It's so true. I mean, you guys say it all the time at the gym. You're like, yo, if someone's giving you a hard time, like they're getting better, you're at the right gym. You're at the right room.
Absolutely. And you should be you should be somebody's co-conspirator for their greatness. You should help them get better.
Yeah.
And sometimes, helping them get better is giving them the full beating. You know what I mean? Like that. Sometimes we're getting away from the brutality sometimes in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes you guys need it. You know what I mean?
Dude, I feel it every time I go with you. I mean that in a good way, though.
Well, I'm trying to keep it alive. Sometimes, it depends on what round you get with me. Sometimes I'll be like, I'll be on floaty and nice. And sometimes I'll be a little bit more brutal.
Yeah.
But, I'll take it. It's part of the art. It's part of this. It's the yin and yang of jiu-jitsu. Okay? It can be this gentle, flowy, fun, awesome, this art thing with all this finesse, but it can also be the most miserable fucking thing you've ever experienced with your arms over your head in the mount, breathing in some guy's fucking head. Titty sweat. It's terrible. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's so
Save me.
Yeah. And then you got those who say, hey, you tell them, hey, I got a flow roll today. Can we flow? And then all of a sudden you're getting tapped.
Never trust a flow roll until you get in there.
Yeah.
Then you'll know right away. You know what I mean? Dude.
Those sleazy people that just say, oh yeah, I got an injured knee. Take it easy. Don't heel hook me. And they go straight to the heel hooking.
They say it in boxing, defend yourself at all times. Yeah. Be fucking ready.
Oh, yeah.
Defend yourself at all times. Because, there's another way your ego gets you all the time in jiu-jitsu when I see is like when people start getting good at jiu-jitsu, they start getting flowy. They start getting like, they have their moves. They're like, I'm a De La Riva guy. Now you go back and you roll with like a very crude white belt who's only trying to survive. And then we get this like, I don't want to roll with that guy. He's not technical. Yeah. It's like, bro, you better use your jiu-jitsu to cancel and negate all of that. Yeah. There's still a lot of utility in rolling with a white belt who's just trying to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Because it keeps your jiu-jitsu sharp, it keeps your jiu-jitsu alive, it keeps your jiu-jitsu humble and not so aloof and sophisticated. You know what I mean? You should be able to be like a sophisticated poet when you're doing this and also a fucking caveman.
Yeah.
You need to be able to flip the switch.
Renaissance, man.
You know what I mean? You got to be able to do it because it's the two energies that are always kind of marrying in this sport. You know what I mean? And you switch from one to the other in a millisecond's notice, So
yeah, absolutely. And honestly, there's been some roles I've had with people that have been that fun, brutal level where you're literally going to war with them. You get there, you're like, dude, that was fucking awesome.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
I think those are my favorite.
Yeah, sometimes, but you can't do it all the time.
No,
and that's where people make the mistake because then people get addicted to training really, really hard. Once they get the stones for it, once their body calluses to training, then they're like, oh, I want a hard round, another hard round. Then your body starts breaking down, and it's hard to stay consistent that way. So I always kind of break it up. I'm like hard round, easier round. Let me wrist lock a girl. No, I'm just kidding. I've been torturing them. I feel bad. Wrist locks and buggy chucks. It's terrible. What's wrong with me? Anyway.
Gotta let them know that the move's there.
Get that timestamp on that. That's going to be a good clip.
It's just showing them that you gotta watch out at all times.
You gotta watch out. You gotta protect yourself at all times. So you gotta embrace every round. If you roll with the guy and you feel like, holy shit, I could get injured during this round, there's a lot of utility in being able to use your jiu-jitsu to stifle that energy. And sometimes you got to dumb it down. You got to be like, all right, now I'm going to use my scissor sweep again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because this guy's just trying to strangle me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like crudely. It's like, all right, I'm not going to use my jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. This like really high level jiu-jitsu versus high level jiu-jitsu type of, I'm going to use this De La Riva. I see people try to use like lofty jiu-jitsu against very like crude opponents and it just doesn't work out.
Well, that's why like when I was saying with you could feel a violent comeback, but I don't feel I feel safe as opposed to
controlled violence.
It's controlled violence as opposed to like a new white belt who's not intentionally trying to hurt me,
right? But
they may not know how to move. Right. That's completely different.
It is, but good jiu-jitsu will always be able to stifle the guy's movement, even if you don't know how to move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put him in close guard. Yeah. He can't move.
For the longest,
now sweep him with with the arm drag or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For the longest time, I always had that you were talking about, the violent person that's choking you and that they don't quite know what they're doing. That when you're worried you may get hurt with, and I always had this like counter balanced argument in my head. It's like, man, I don't want to be around that person. I don't want to get hurt. And it's like, yeah, but it's jiu-jitsu. Don't be a bitch. Use your fucking jiu-jitsu. You can't control in a street fight.
Exactly.
Now I'm 36. I don't train as much as I want to. I'm much more selective. I don't mind going against the tough rolls and like get a black and blue or whatever.
Every once in a while, you got to do it. Yeah. You got to keep it real, brother.
But that's the thing. It's every once in a while. You don't need to do that every time.
Don't, and you can get addicted. You can get addicted to doing comfortable that. Rounds. You know what I mean? Your ego gets weird. We can get addicted to doing too many flow rolls.
Yeah.
That's why I shout out to my Fort Lee guys, because I always make fun of these guys. I'm like, you guys love flow rolls. Stop flow rolling with each other. Come on. What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Dude, honestly, it's true, because you get to a point where let's just say you want to work your offense, so you start going with lower belts, right?
Yeah.
So to work your offense, and then you go then with someone else who's better than you. You're like, fuck, I just got wrecked. Well,
it's very important to go with people that you can beat up, people that can kick your ass, and people that you don't know what's gonna happen.
Those are the best roles.
Those are the best. Like I said, that's your Pokemon rival. Yeah. That's your guy.
That's my Pokemon.
That's your Gary. That's your Gary. That guy. That fucking guy.
That guy. Fuck.
Last night I rolled with Sal. That's a banger for me, man. That's a banger. I gotta dig deep every time with that big bachagaloo.
He's a big dude.
Yeah,
very good wrestler.
I gotta come correct him and Andy Segovia last night too. I gotta bring my stuff to the table, and I gotta do it without fear in my heart. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's challenging. It's challenging. If it's not challenging, if you're not getting butterflies in your stomach before hard training, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
Dude, I was wondering why even 6 years into it, some rounds I get
it never goes away, bro. It never goes away.
If you don't have it, you're not pushing yourself.
Exactly. If you don't have nerves before the fight, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking fight, guys. Anybody that knows what can happen in a fight, and even a jiu-jitsu fight is just a fraction of a fight, right? Mm-hmm. But still, it's like a fight with rules. You're still trying to dominate each other. So if you don't have, there's some kid could walk into pro training on Mondays that I don't know. When somebody just looks tough. They got their ears all screwed up. They got a square ass jaw. Like, this guy's been into a few fucking rolls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got, you could just tell. And then sometimes, some young kid will walk in named Joao da Silva da Costa da Souza. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm feeling the fucking butterflies now. Yeah. So that's just how it works. That's just that is the slice of life on the mats.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of being on the mats, because, it's a never ending struggle. And keeping yourself humble is the number one way to progress.
Absolutely.
I missed that 11 a.m. class, dude. I missed that pro class so much.
Yeah.
I miss it.
It misses you, bud.
Dude, I knew going into that class, I was either second to last or last. But I knew I was going to learn something, even getting my ass kicked.
For many years, when I was working in restaurants, I was always say, I can work any day you want except for Monday lunch.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't work.
You can't work Monday lunch. No, sir.
It's for something else.
Yeah. Dude. and yo, I know what you meant too. Like, I'll give you an example. The guys that used to come from New York and Portchester. Those guys were tough, bro. I didn't know what the fuck I was getting myself.
Boys. Yeah. Those guys are awesome, dude.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Man.
Fuck, man.
Those guys are awesome. Those guys were always hard training. Hard training. With all the guys that would come through and train over that in that session. I've trained with some of the best guys in jiu-jitsu at that session. Mm-hmm. I like jiu-jitsu legends over there.
Yeah.
Fucking
I remember one of the times I walked in and Phil Halls was there. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He would come with Dylan.
Yeah. Dylan, yeah.
Someone who I've known since he was 13 years old.
Yeah. Because he used to train at AMA.
That's where he started, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So, I actually was there when he was a white belt.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember kicking it at Pure at open mats with Dylan, and pro training, and people would be like, hey, you know Dylan? I'm like, dude, I've known him since first week of jiu-jitsu. We both joined the same exact time at AMA. I knew when he was 13 years old. Yeah. He's 13. I'm 18 or 19 at this time. So that's always fun. You know,
that is
keeping up with him and his career has always been fun. You know, he's a good dude. He's a great dude. You know, don't believe social media or whatever.
No, that's all marketing. That's marketing.
You know, the name of the game is prize fighting. He's been able to talk himself into a very unique position. You know, these guys in the UFC, they don't make any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They sacrifice their life and everything to make half of what he's made in, you know, one of his early fights with Bellator. So, you know, he's talked himself into a position where he is valuable. People want to see him fight. People want to see him do stuff. So I think hating on that guy is corny, you know?
Well, it's all marketing, dude. It's like the Pauls, dude. The Pauls are all marketing. They do this shit on purpose. Like Bradley Martin. Man. Like Bradley Martin knows he's not beating the shit out of fucking Mighty Mouse. It's marketing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, we live in a clickbait universe, unfortunately, where everybody is just it is just a war for everybody's attention. Yeah, and everybody's attention span is severely minimized these days. You know,
it's brutal.
You know,
the one like argument. It was like a funny argument that I had with Dylan when I trained at AMA. I came from football and he was a wrestler. And then there was another older guy there. I forgot his name, but he was also a wrestler. And they were like, yo, the wrestlers would beat the shit out of the football players. I was like, no, they wouldn't. Football players are tough. And I'm like, looking back, wrestlers would destroy. I mean, football players are tough, but the wrestlers would win.
Yeah. I mean, if you're chasing down a ball. Yeah. I don't know how that's relevant.
Right? You lost that one, Joey. I lost that one completely. That was all ego right there.
Unless it's that Dagestani basketball shit that they be doing. You see that? They wrestle ball. No. They play like basketball and like take each other down. It's like actually insane.
You ever seen Calcio Storico? The Florence, like they beat the shit out of each other and play like modified rugby or something.
It seems really cool. I would like to go there and see that shit.
I would love that shit. They're crazy. Yo, what if if they were like, hey Joe, you want to participate? Dude, would you participate? We should go there and try to
participate. Not. Yeah. Probably not.
Those guys are nuts.
Yeah, probably not.
Fuck. Have you seen the NFL lineman who was also like a fucking collegiate wrestler that took down like Strickland in the ring or something?
Yeah, I mean, dude, if the UFC paid NFL money, you would never see. This was a Strickland quote too, and it's true. But you would never see a champion who's not from like the USA. I mean, we get our like ultra football athletes in there. Like, I mean,
unfortunately, there's not the money for it.
There's not.
What do you think? What do you think that is? Is that just it's not as like boxing has been around longer, so it has a lot of money? Like, what do you think is that?
The UFC has decided to invest in the UFC, not the sport, really. You know what I mean? They've invested in the sport in terms of expanding the UFC, but they crushed the competition. They set the prices low, and they make it hard to compete with their brand. You know, I think Dana White is very polarizing. He's done a lot of great things. He took fighting to a crazy place I never thought it would be in a million years. But he's also responsible for why a lot of these guys suffer. You know, it's a little crazy to watch him give out like $6 million to like the Nelk boys or something like that. And then like, some of these guys are like electricians, you know, on the side. Fuck. You know, it's tough. It's a crushing reality of fighting. It's not glorious. And a lot of the time it ends in really sad outcomes for people. You know, you spend your whole life doing some warrior shit, gaining these unbelievable highs, you know, and then one day you got to pack it up and start selling insurance. And you know what I'm saying?
Imagine the mind going from high intensity
like fighting. I used to fight in front of a crowd and kill men. Yeah, let's get you to bed, Grandpa. You know what I
mean? So the Xerox machine's over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So do you? I fought in the UFC 3 times. Yeah, that's cool. So you got to finish these training modules by 3 p.m. All right.
Training modules don't trigger me.
Dude, I hope that I don't hope when some fighters listen.
Here's how you print your server report,
dude. Yeah, right.
God. You got nightmares. You remember that life. You remember the server life.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, bro. Yo, sometimes I was like, yo, these people talk to me.
It was fun though, right?
Bartending was fun for sure.
Bartending's fun.
I did it for 6 months.
Great. People just talking to people is fun.
100%.
If your job involves talking to people, it's usually cool.
That's why I started the show.
Yeah.
I fucking love talking to people.
Yeah.
I love just the conversation. I think it's missing.
You do be talking.
I do be talking a lot. I do be talking.
You do be talking.
I do be.
You do be running your mouth. No,
No, I do want to run my mouth. I want to run my mouth. Scott Cooper.
What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legendary people up here.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, and also from AMA, you must have known a lot of the fighters. A shit ton of fighters.
Yeah. That was always part of the. I don't know how to put this. The charm and the the disastrous element of training at AMA.
Sure.
It was also like you never knew who you were going to train with, and then you never knew who you were going to train with, because sometimes these guys would come in, they would think that the answer sometimes to make these crazy MMA fighters better on the ground is like throw them in a gi and put them in regular class wearing a white belt, and you just didn't know. And, so sometimes you just get steamrolled by some of these guys, or like it was just an interesting place to train because those guys used to go hard, dude. And a lot of the ways that they used to train would nowadays kind of be like a horror story. There's a lot of KOs in training, a lot of rougher than it needs to be, a lot of heavyweights going with 125ers, shit that makes no sense.
I did hear about this.
A lot of the place was ripe for it. Was a little dangerous. It's a lot of fun. A little dangerers.
There was a couple people who train up here now who used to do the MMA sparring there, and they were like, they would be like, I don't want to go. But
look at somebody who's a product of that. Is my man Melvis.
Oh, Mel, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna punch you right in your fucking grill, dude.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
he'll get you.
No, with his tooth, his fake tooth now.
But that's a guy who was a product of that environment.
Yeah.
And even if and I used to do the MMA training, like I used to do jiu-jitsu. I used to do MMA jiu-jitsu. Like Friday was jiu-jitsu with strike, so I would train with those guys in jiu-jitsu with strike rounds, and that shit makes a man out of you in your jiu-jitsu real fast. It's another level of efficiency.
Yeah.
When you can, neutralize the strikes and just stay in the fight. And that's another level of like old school training, like that was alive there. But yeah, there was always guys coming through, good jiu-jitsu guys, good MMA guys. You never knew who you were going to train with.
Is it true that when you would do the MMA sparring, some guys would just go into the fucking mirror and like the mirror would break? Oh, dude, that's insane. Yeah, that's completely
fucking
different.
Through the wall. I remember people, double legging people onto the benches where people were watching and shit. And it was like, dude, it was like out of control. It was like ADCC before ADCC. In floor B, they were always covering up, like they were always patching the walls because we were just putting fucking feet and elbows through them all the time. Yeah, the place was wild, dude. Place was wild, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because it made me tough. It made me tough. It gave me an element of toughness that sometimes is hard to get nowadays.
From a business standpoint, do you think that's
great?
I was gonna say it's sustainable. Like, you
not
think
great.
That training is not sustainable, right?
No,
to get
dude.
clientele.
So AMA was a successful place for a lot of different reasons. It was really successful. It still continues to be successful, and God bless them. And I know that they still have a very, very hard training policy, keeping the old school alive, which is really good. You got to keep that shit alive. But I think people want they want training to be hard, and they want training to be enjoyable.
Sure,
it can't just always be. And I'm not saying that this happens at AMA at all. I think that those guys definitely enjoy their training, right? But I think that you always have to have a good balance of this is enjoyable, this is hard. This is enjoyable. This is soul-crushingly hard.
Sure.
The highest highs, pretty low lows. It's good. And then you kind of reconcile it all and realize it's all the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because if you win every round, it's like you just get validated. You just go home and feel good. You put your favorite song on in the car afterwards, and you're like, I'm the man today.
I'm the best.
I'm the man. So it hurts that much more when you have to learn the lesson when you get tapped the next day.
Oh yeah.
You show up the next day and you get obliterated, and you're like, I am not the man.
I'm garbage.
No, legitimate. Right. It's crazy.
And then through that, and really, when you learn, when you lose, you learn. You have an opportunity to grow. You can just discard it and not think about it and be like, oh, just tomorrow's another day. I don't know, whatever. I'll be back. Or you can go, why did I get caught? What got me caught in that situation? And then you actually have the opportunity to get better. So it's like people think, oh, if I don't tap, I'll get to the next belt. But really, it's kind of like you have to move through the failures as fast as you can so that you can have the big realizations. Because if I told you were 100 taps away, like 100 times of you tapping to the next belt rank, you would be really excited to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To learn the lesson.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is true. That is
Yeah, you got to find the edge of what works. You know, like where does this go wrong? And that's kind of hard to do when you first start out because you're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, dude, there's so much growing pains with jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you make it past the first 6 months, God bless you, but it's not a guarantee that you're even going to be handing out your first ass beatings by then. You know what I mean?
No, dude.
It's a very, very rough sport to stick with in the beginning. If you don't have some sort of natural ability or have ever moved on the mat before, it's really, 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 really tough. I had the luxury of watching so much jiu-jitsu before I ever did it. That really helps. I understood what guard was. I understood what half guard was. I knew about the Gracies. I did 1 year of wrestling. I knew what fighting was like a little bit, you know, and so that gave me like a little bit of a, you know, an edge starting. But for some people come onto this mat that, you know, my student Cheryl, you know, Aiden's mom, she never, you don't know what grappling is. I'll be like, then you put the guy down and it's time to pass the guard. She's like, okay, but why? You know, like, and I'm like, what do you mean why? It's just what you do. But some people just don't some people start without even understanding the point of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So God bless those people that stay with it and stick with it and get their black belt. That road is so tough, especially if you're a woman too on top of that. You know, it's a tough sport. It's a tough sport.
It is.
It's a tough sport.
Especially trying to find, like, I mean, Pure, you're blessed because you have a women's class.
It's a super unique blessing.
Yeah.
It's a super unique blessing to have that type of environment there because it is not the normal jiu-jitsu experience, you know. And most women that are training, you know, are the only woman on the mat. And, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough, dude, because you gotta think about your well-being, your safety, all that stuff, you know, extra when you're compromised, you know, physically. Seriously.
Yeah.
That is true.
Not in that part, too, then you just have to worry about creeps.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge aspect that is, I mean, I'm sure there's environments for that, too, but, like, most, as guys, you don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So, we are blessed at our gym.
Yeah, we self-police, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the weird people always kind of expose themselves.
Yeah.
You know, in a community that is very
figuratively, not literally.
Yeah. Well said.
It's fire. Yeah. The freaks come out at night. I don't know what goes on at that Friday 7 p.m. class. I've never been there before, but
it's we are
a fucking
lucky.
Weird class.
Is
just
it?
saying. I don't know. It's just weird.
I've never
Who's
been.
Training at 7:15 on Friday night?
I don't know, dude. It's
you
crazy.
Ever been there?
No.
I've done it.
It's weird, right?
I haven't done it in a long time. I haven't done it in a long time. I'm just going to tell you. The pregame to go out, to get warmed up.
Dude.
That's weird.
Getting the reps in.
Yo, actually, that might be a sick pregame.
Yeah.
Go home. Jiu-jitsu, yeah, so you could be tired at the bar.
Hell yeah. You go out, you're just tired.
You won't be ready to fight.
Yeah. Some dude comes up to you like, brother, I just got tapped 15 times tonight. I'm good.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you see this black eye, I'm done.
I'll tell you a funny story. One time, Sam Messina and I are driving in the car, and these guys, I don't know what happened. We had like this road rage incident with these guys, and we were trying to lose them, and they were just like following us until we pulled off into like a side street, and they got out of the car, and Sam Messina was like, "Oh, no way," and like jumped out the car and goes. By that time I had all these, jiu-jitsu and MMA stickers from where I train on the back of my car, and he's like, "Buddy, can't you see the stickers on the back of the car? We just came from fucking motherfuckers. You guys could be next."
I love Sam. That's fucking great.
Buddy, dude, didn't you see the stickers on the car?
What did they do?
They got in their car and they left.
Smart guys.
I mean, bro, you see Sammy come out of the car.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to get out of the car, dude. Sammy got out of the car, and he's a big boy. You don't want to mess with him, dude.
No.
You don't want to mess with him. He'll hit you with a punch. He'll rearrange your whole face like Mr. Potato Head. I swear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
No.
With him. Yeah. So they kind of they tucked their tails in between their legs and were like left.
But you're smart though. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Shit. Do you ever hear that story someone told? I think it was Brian Schaub told on Rogan. Oh no, Rogan was talking about
Brandon Schaub. And they started fighting each other
on the ground.
Remember Joey Polito?
Yeah.
Remember, Joey Black Belt? Yeah. Sick jiu-jitsu guy. You know, he's got his own jiu-jitsu program over in Wayne. He's the man. Good dude. I known him for so many years from the original AMA, but funny ass story. You know, like that, like you said, the two guys fight on the side of the road. We didn't fight, but one time I accidentally rear-ended him by accident. Like I didn't know it was him.
Oh no!
And in traffic, I just rear-ended somebody, and we got out of the car, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh, dude," and he's like, "Joey," and I was like, "Joey." And then we got out of the car and hugged. So like, imagine these people like on the side of the road. See, like he gets out all aggressive. I get out like, oh, and then they're like, he's like,
these fucking Italian
dude. No, that is
so
very Italian. That's a very Italian exchange in an accent.
Story, dude.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm not happy you rear-ended him, but that's a great story.
I took care of him. I paid for his bumper.
That's funny as shit though.
He's all right.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny story.
Fuck.
Yeah, it is a funny story. So, yeah.
Good times.
What would you say if you had to give just 3 pieces of advice to any practitioner, whether it's someone trying to be ADCC, someone trying to be a UFC fighter, or just train for fun? What is the 3 most important things?
Never give up. You can't give up. You have to make a commitment with yourself that you're going to see yourself through the bad times and the good times of training. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure that you don't let life get, if you want to do this, if you love it, you don't have to love it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can quit. Mm-hmm. Quitting is like Chael Sonnen said, quitting is always an option. Yeah. You know, but if you decide that you love it and you want to do it and you make a commitment to yourself, you better respect yourself so that you don't quit. Mm-hmm. You cannot give up on yourself. You give up on jiu-jitsu, it's like giving up on yourself. It's like giving up on, like we said, that extra slice of life that makes life interesting, that warrior shit. It's saying that you're giving into the monotony of the everyday life, and you have to fight against that. It's like you always have to keep your inner child alive. You always have to keep your jiu-jitsu spirit strong. Sure. You know what I mean? So that you can live if you decide that it's important to you, you can't quit. Mm-hmm. That's number 1. Number 2, I would say you have to be kind to yourself. You have to learn to be okay with getting your ass kicked for a while, looking like a fool when you try a new move, putting yourself out there and being like okay with whatever happens, you know, but trying to control the experience and trying to, you know, and always having your ego involved in it will always kind of bite you in the ass. So you have to be kind to yourself on days that kind of suck. And being kind to yourself is something that isn't always obvious. Like if you're overtraining, you have to be kind to yourself to give yourself a day off. Mm-hmm. Because then sometimes you just overtrain, catastrophic injury. Mm-hmm. Because your ego was telling you you can't miss. So sometimes being kind to yourself is being like, dude, I know where I'm at physically. I'm going to take the night off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go home and kick my feet up like a bitch, but whatever. You know what I mean? So being kind to yourself is like, stop the negative self-talk too, because there's no amount of anxiety that ever solves a problem. It never helps. And you learn that in jiu-jitsu in real time, because when somebody's beating the shit out of you in side control, there's no amount of like, oh fuck, is this going to help you? You have to relax, rebound your energy, and then try to escape as best as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. Calm, collected, kind of force behind that. And number 3, I guess is, you know, be excellent to each other. You know, jiu-jitsu is a very up close and personal, but it's a very intimate thing. You know what I mean? It's very like, you know, people are very vulnerable on the mat. Yeah. You know, your personality will shine through on the mat. If you're an aggressive person, you'll be an aggressive role. If you're a passive, sly, like kind of like more like calculated person, that'll show up on the round. That'll show up in the roll. So we get to express ourselves, and your true personality comes out when you roll. Like if you're a tough, grizzled son of a bitch in life, that's coming out on the mat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think we all, in a community, owe it to each other to be excellent to each other, to support each other, like support the girls. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Give them a good training experience, even though you could just, you know, pin them down and mount. And what the fuck is that? Like nobody's winning that way. Be excellent to the kids and the teenagers who are in that weird spot between, coming out of the kids classes and coming into adult classes. It can be very intimidating.
I can't imagine that.
You know what I mean? Dude, think about Jude Shane. Yeah. He came from, being like 7 years old and became a man on the mat. And that wasn't easy. It's never easy, dude.
No.
And it takes a village. But everybody has a role in the village. And in a community-based martial art system where it is that Game of Thrones, it is that totem pole thing, it can be very revealing. It can be very intense. So it's very important that we are excellent to each other. That, that we try to be understanding. We try to be friends with the next person. Try to help them. And then beat their ass.
I like that. When you keep tapping with the same thing, maybe just point out what they're doing slightly wrong, just a little bit.
I like that.
Of course, that's part of being excellent for each other. The
training partner, be a good training partner.
We were doing neon belly drills one day, and we were just learning how to properly neon belly people. So we were crushing our partners. And Jamie caught me and my partner kind of taking it easy after each other after we kind of got it. And he's like, "What are you doing? Why did you stop?" And I was like, because, we get it. And I don't want to crush this guy forever. And he goes, "Let me tell you something. You're not doing him any favors by not getting him used to neon belly. It's uncomfortable now, but he will thank you later because your body will literally callous for jiu-jitsu. So the first time you take a body shot in boxing, it's not the same as when you take a body shot for the 10,000th time.
Yeah.
So when you take it easy on your partner, even during drilling, because I want to be nice to them, you're coddling them. You're not helping them. So this is part of showing up and being excellent for each other, is bringing your best self to the mat and challenging your partner, challenging your friends to be better.
Oh, before I go to the next question, I just want to recap that because that was really good. So you said never give up. Be kind to yourself, and we need to be excellent to people. It takes a village. I love that. Yeah, I think it's great. Part of what you just said there, when you're not helping your partner by going easy, how do you distinguish when you're actually boxing or MMA sparring? Where's that line between, I have to hit this motherfucker and make him respect it, and that might have been too hard.
When you feel like your safety's on the line.
Yeah.
If you feel like this guy is doesn't care about your safety, then you have to unfortunately bring it to an uncomfortable place to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Or just be like, "Hey, bro, I'm not here to really fight you like that." You know what I mean? Listen, you have control over the experience.
Yeah.
Not everybody here is gonna, not everybody that does the sparring is gonna, take a fight. So, you got it. But if it's hey, if you're somebody like Brandon Bernard or Alex Rios, you got to handle yourself in the training room.
100%.
No, handle yourself.
Oh, no, and by the way, I was just asking out of curiosity. I've never felt in danger sparring those guys. And, but
I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying that they encounter something like that. It's a little different for them.
Yeah.
Because they got to take it there. They got to be okay with taking it.
Oh, because they want to be comfortable.
They got to be comfortable with that uncomfortable moment. Where, hey, this just crossed into street fight level, of intensity.
Yeah.
That can happen at any time.
Yeah. And what's good with that is you, when you competing and stuff, it's really hard to simulate the stress levels and all that stuff. So when you hit this moment, you're
dude,
shit, but good. Now I have the opportunity to.
You have to get used to that type of adrenaline dump.
Yeah, it's huge.
And the only way you can do that is going through it, and it sucks, and nobody likes it. But afterwards, if you win that little exchange, you win that fight on the mat. It's good for you. Good for you.
When you won't be upset that you didn't do that, you committed to that and did that, is when you competed and you have the adrenaline dump and you're like, fuck.
Well, no, exactly. Dude, my very first competition. Yeah. My very first competition, I was going with, this was when I was training nights. And we were rolling with everyone. I was rolling with you, Rob Alex, Cooper, everyone, just getting my ass beat every day, going hard. And I was like, dude, what adrenaline? Why am I going to be nervous in here? I'm getting my ass kicked every fucking day. This guy's my bumped. It's going to be good. We bumped, and I swear to God, I couldn't feel any of my body. I had that adrenaline that I couldn't feel anything. And I was like, what the fuck? This is real.
Yeah, man, it is. And that's why, jiu-jitsu will help you be comfortable in a very uncomfortable situation. That is part of the utility of that. That's why at the retreat that we just did, we do a lot of things that challenge our retreat goers
Shout it out.
Yeah, Flow State Jiu-Jitsu. We do. This was our. I just came back from my 5th jiu-jitsu retreat in Tulum, Mexico.
Fuck yeah!
At this amazing place, Villa Balamha. It's an incredible experience. An incredible thing that probably my most proud thing I've ever done in jiu-jitsu. The thing I'm most proud of for sure. But we will bake some experiences into that retreat, even though it's this beautiful, amazing place. It's in the middle of the jungle. So this beauty is very like, it's like the nature of jiu-jitsu. It's like, it's beautiful, but it's dangerous.
You got to earn it.
Yeah, you're in the jungle, man. It's like, we've seen scorpions down there and shit. And it's beautiful. It's also like in the middle of nature. And jiu-jitsu can be like that, and we do some things in the retreat that like replicate that will kind of test you. Like we do the Mayan sweat lodge in Temazcal, which is really taxing mind, body, and spirit.
What is it? I haven't heard of it.
So basically, like we're all sitting inside of a stone igloo.
Fuck.
Pitch black, because they put like a blanket on the top and they put a blanket at the door, and they will shovel in volcanic rocks that they've been heating up that are like glowing hot, and throw them in the middle in this pit where we all sit around it. And then the dude that does the ceremony, he's like this Mayan dude named Quetzal. He's the chillest guy on earth. He burns herbs, he sings songs, he talks about it goes from all the cardinal directions, east, west, north, south, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And, there's lessons for each round. We do 4 rounds. And you're like pitch black, you're dying, heat. It's the hottest sauna you've ever been in, basically. And it's just it tests you big time mental fortitude wise.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's rough. You're literally sitting on rocky earth, boiling inside of there.
Yeah.
Pitch black.
Getting cooked.
Pitch black. While this Native American dude's like, fucking banging his drum, going loco, I might add.
You're struggling sitting there and he's freaking working.
Well, I would have to consciously calm myself down.
I mean, that is all you can do in that situation.
Yeah.
That's why we do it, because you have to be so connected to your breath to calm yourself down. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing you have in that moment. So it's really, we always say, like, people, me, my business partner, and one of my best buddies, David, we always say, like, yeah, if you can survive bottom out, you'll be all right in the Temazcal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it's recreating that extreme difficulty for like a spiritual rebirth. It's really cool. And so some of the events that we do at Flow State, which is kind of combining these ancient healing and mindfulness practices with jiu-jitsu and the whole Mexico experience, so like a vacation experience all at once, will challenge you in that way, which I think is, the metaphysical edge of jiu-jitsu. Just using jiu-jitsu to get what you want out of life is one of the very, I would say, often overlooked qualities of jiu-jitsu. A lot of people just think jiu-jitsu is fun. It keeps me in shape. I feel like a badass. But you can use the energy that you bring to jiu-jitsu to get what you want out of life, because it can teach you a lot. I feel that whenever you completely give yourself to something, you can see the whole, like all the ways of life through it. If you know the way broadly, you'll see it in all things. It's like a really cool quote my buddy David likes to say a lot. But it's true, and jiu-jitsu can be a microcosm for your relationships with other people, your relationship with work, your relationship with just how you feel about life in general, because it's all in your control, So through your practice, it can help you, kind of attract what you want, in life. If you use it right. The way I used it, it did.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure. It'd be based off what you're doing. Right. Yeah,
Yeah. I've had the opportunity to go to some really amazing places in my life because of jiu-jitsu. It just started as this thing. One day Jamie just said, "Hey, can you teach?" What? And that just, it just starts with the decision, man. And then a commitment to yourself. Like I'm saying, you can't give up. There was 10 years I was working in restaurants. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no clue if it was ever going to work out for me. the way I wanted it to. I just kept the faith and kept the hard work going, and I kept my mindset positive about it. I never complained. I always knew life was up to me, and I really feel like that put out some kind of like energy that was very like abundant for me and helped me get what I want out of life so far. A little bit, you know, with making jiu-jitsu work and being able to see the world with it and be a part of some really cool experiences every year that I get now that are just kind of like we go to my buddy Colton's down at Speakeasy Jiu-Jitsu in Asheville every year, and we, you know, do a seminar down there, and it's really cool. And it's just, I meet the greatest people doing this thing, you know? I've had the opportunity to go to Europe and do a seminar.
You were in Denmark, right?
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's wild.
A few years ago, that was awesome. Yeah. It's unbelievable, man.
That is fucking awesome.
Some of the coolest times of my life. So I'm just gonna see how far I can keep going with it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I feel it's gonna be a lifelong thing. That faith is key that you're saying, and you said the best thing ever is your life is in your control.
100%.
Period.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a shitty childhood. Sometimes. I mean, I told you that my mom was amazing. My dad was very loving until I lost him. You know what I mean? Obviously, and then life got kind of rough. But it is what you make it. It is what you make it. You can change it at any moment. You know, you really can. And people lose sight of that really easily. Really easily. Because we start feeling things are out of our power. You know? The most powerful thing you can do is try to live the life that you want. You know what did Bob Dylan say? He said, if a man gets up in the morning and does what he wants during the day and then goes to bed, he can consider himself a success.
I like that.
Wow, I love that. I haven't heard that one. I love that.
Yeah. And I that for me always rang true. And the type of guys I looked up to always were like the outlaws of society. You know what I mean? Like the guys who just were like, yeah, it's not for me. You know, it's not the Wall Street thing. The working in healthcare, whatever you do. No defense if you do that. It just wasn't for me. I always wanted to be a bandit on horseback.
You know what I mean?
Modern day bandit.
You get to do it legally now, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Keep it alive. Yeah.
I fucking love that. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like tough, like good tough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like that quote.
Yeah, he had some bangers.
Yeah.
Bobby Dylan.
I'm gonna have to write that one down.
El bandito.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, that's what you are.
Man. Well, you know, those were the guys who inspired me, you know, growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
And it takes more. I don't want to say more courage, but the courage it takes to go out on your own and do what you actually want to do is it's lost amongst society. And I'm not calling it. You know what?
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
There are two types of people in this world, unfortunately. People who will make it happen and people who will make excuses. And it's not for everybody. You know, this is an ancient thing we're talking about, this mindset, you know, between the ruling class and those who don't rule. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Throughout history. And the parameters and conditions of that have gone from being very brutal to now everybody lives a very favorable life. But you still, at the core of everybody, you're either the master of your universe or you are just being taken up for a ride by life. And sometimes it can feel very hopeless to get out of one area in life. But
do you know what I've started literally this week implementing? Because I, to like you, understand about like the mind with regards to taking control, right? But the one thing I could never do was always when the ego is trying to keep me safe, quote unquote, by showing me the old story of something that I no longer want, right? It's not something I want, but it's comfortable to the ego. I would always fight it. Like, what are you doing to me? So now what I'm doing is I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like sort of talking to it like, let's work together because this is not the outcome. That's the old outcome.
Right, dude.
Let's feed it.
Dude, you are the observer of your thoughts.
Yes.
You are the one who decides which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to throw away.
Yes.
And if you want to keep the ones that are going to move you closer to what you want to get out of life. Mm-hmm. And when you are in that headspace, you create a vibration. There's an attraction to you. There's a vibration that people can feel of abundancy, that you're in life to take as much as you can in a good way.
Yeah.
To get the most out of it possible. People want to be around that. People want to feel inspired, by interacting with each other. And you can really only do that by kind of editing your thoughts. You can't, you're not everyone is you. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have no idea how to marry the conversation between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. That's why we freak out in jiu-jitsu in the beginning. It's like the guy's on top of you in side control, pinning you down to the floor, and your subconscious mind is freaking out, going, "Somebody's trying to kill us, dude. Yeah. I can't see what's going on out there, but somebody's trying to kill us." Yes. And your conscious mind is going, "No, it's fine, shrimp, dude. We got to shrimp. Use my body to shrimp."
It's and then they're like, true, you're like.
It's so true. It still happens to me this day. If I take more than a couple weeks off, more like 2 or 3 weeks off, I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, I'm fine now. But if I take 2 or 3 weeks off and someone gets in a mount on me and their geese kind of open around my face, I remember, I think you've got me in a mother's milk and I had like a finger through there.
Sorry.
Yeah, but dude, I did that.
I was just trying to help you. I was just trying to make you better, dude.
Yeah. I remember it so vividly, and I'm just like, I had a finger in there. I had just enough to breathe.
Yeah.
But like 2 weeks before that, I was panicking. So, but it's that subconscious mind coming through. Dude, and I was out of practice.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. When you walk away from the guitar for 2 weeks and try to pick it back up, your fingers aren't the same, right? Yeah. It's like you get back into the groove. It's like, every time I start up tennis season, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I suck at this. Yeah. But then I get back, by my second or third week, I'm having nice rallies with my buddy,
Hell yeah.
So
it's funny with that too, with when you panic, like when someone gets a mother's milk on me, if I end up like panicking because I can't breathe, I sort of just joke with myself, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I die today." Because like, you can't breathe, and you're like, "What? I can't panic. I can't tap."
I mean, bro, there's a lot to that.
Yeah,
there's a lot to that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of truth and utility to that.
I guess I got it.
I love your description of what because that is what the subconscious does, and a lot of people don't understand too. Habitual thoughts. I'm not just gonna say one off. Like if you genuinely,
the intrusive habitual thoughts, man, are coming from inside. 100%. The subconscious has no idea what's going on outside of the body. It only knows what's going on inside.
Yes,
and it can be really tricky. And people that don't know that there's this book that I always recommend called The Inner Games of Tennis. It has nothing to do with tennis. It has to do with learning a new skill and the self dialogue that is required to do that without being judgy towards yourself. Like I said, being nice to yourself. But it introduced me to the concept of self one and self two having a conversation. Mm-hmm. Self one is like, okay, I'm going to swing my arm now. And self two judges me if I did it right or if I did it wrong and goes, because who the fuck are you yelling at when you do it wrong?
It's yourself.
Right. But like, do you see how there's like the operator and the one who's like doing the motion and the manager inside.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like two, self one, self two, the person who's doing the action and the one who's calling the shots and the critique, the one who's the critic.
The critic, yeah.
In your head.
Yeah.
So marrying that conversation is kind of how to be something that's beneficial for you is a very secret hack, very effective hack, I should say, that can propel you in your learning in anything.
100%.
Yeah. So being aware of that, and that's something that a lot of people who have numbed themselves to just the monotony and the regular old bullshit of life. It's hard for them to understand that, understand the anxiety associated with that.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Fuck. That was great. That was a great combo.
Yeah.
That was a great combo.
Good stuff, guys.
I fucking love that. I love that,
yeah,
dude.
Thanks.
That's a lot of gems. No,
thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. No, my pleasure. You know what's funny, too? Our pleasure, I said. You...
not my pleasure. I don't know about that.
Remember when you were coming on, you were like, Joey, you got to have some questions for me. I can't just spit. I just can't... For what? an hour and 40 minutes, you were the majority.
I was spitting.
You were spitting.
Spitting hot fire.
I knew you were going to be fine. I knew you were going to be able to talk.
This was fantastic. I'm excited,
dude.
I'm a little bummed out with our cameras.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm going to get a new computer.
We'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out. So, folks, you're probably not going to see a full through video because it went in on and off. I need to buy a new computer or figure it out. But regardless, that doesn't take... I'm not going to look at the camera because the camera's fucked. That's not going to take away from this episode because what people wanted to hear was exactly what you spoke into that camera, into that mic. It's who's Joey? How did Joey get to where he is? And a lot of people, especially the ones training jiu-jitsu, are going to value what's the word I'm looking for? The advice that you gave and the experiences.
Well, we're back now. We're good. Just in time to end it.
Yeah.
We'll get about 4 minutes.
No, it's been doing that the whole time.
I know.
It's been doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's my life's work, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's my life's work to help people with this thing, this niche martial art that's sometimes in pajamas and sometimes not. And you know, and I love it so much, and it literally saved my life. So if I can help anybody with something that I said today, that would make me happy. That's what I'm doing it for. You asked me how my life changed from being a competitor to a coach. It changed because now my primary goal is to help other people and to spread as much goodwill as I can through this thing and to affect as many people positively as I can, even though getting your ass kicked isn't so positive sometimes.
No.
It's not in the immediate, but then, it's good for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What we always do is...
still get my ass kicked sometimes too. So.
Yep. For sure. Hey,
it happens, man.
Be the hammer the nail. You got anything?
No, I'm good, man. This was great.
That was great. We usually let the guests do like a closing remark. So just
anything you want to end on?
Anything you want to end
just
on.
said a bunch.
You said a lot.
Yeah.
But just
yeah. Scott Cooper, your days are numbered.
We're ending there, folks. And we got the camera, so I'm going to look in. Oh, maybe. It takes a village, right? That's what Campisi said. It takes a village. Never give up. Be nice to yourself and be excellent to others. And guys, you listen and we'll take it from here. Episode 222. See you next week.